suspect is caught on camera slashing tires at an East Texas apartment complex. Why the incident has residents there baffled? Just ahead.
It's so important that these firefighters have the proper equipment and the tools and the resources that they need.
Plus, a local fire station is getting a much-needed upgrade. Why officials say this would not be possible without community support. And time is running out to prevent a government shutdown on Capitol Hill, where talks stand tonight. KTRE 9 News starts right now.
Caring, committed, proud of East Texas. You're watching KTRE 9 News.
Good evening, East Texas, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Naomi Sanchez. A Tyler woman is accused of slashing several tires at an apartment complex. Sherry Cummings is out of jail tonight on bond charged with 1 count of criminal mischief. Police say she slashed tires from cars parked at the Stonebrook Apartments on Paluxy Drive. New tonight, KTRE's JD Conti spoke with the neighbors who captured it all on camera.
On September 1st, Tyler police responded to a disturbance at the Stonebrook Apartments. They found 33-year-old Sherry Cummings banging on apartment doors. She was arrested September 16th. According to an arrest affidavit, Cummings said her husband had assaulted her and was hiding in an apartment. One door the affidavit says she banged on was Brianna Von Bargen's.
And later on at around like 3 in the morning, she came back and she slashed 8 cars' tires, just one of them on each car, and we got her on video.
Here is what police believe is Cummings, slashing the tires of her neighbor's cars. The total damages for 9 cars, $1,600.
Although she denied that it was her husband supposedly offered to pay for all our tires.
Von Bargen and her neighbors have no idea why their cars were targeted. In fact, she says she had never met Cummings before.
That was our first time, unfortunately, meeting our neighbor. So I honestly don't know.
But this isn't the first time that this has happened at the Stonebrook Apartments. According to the arrest affidavit, there have been 2 other recent incidents, with it being a, quote, ongoing problem. In fact, Von Bargen says it's the only reason she had cameras in the first place.
The resident had came out saying and telling us that that you guys need to be safe because people last year someone had slashed an entire complex's tires and the police got involved, and I have a baby, so.
Residents say there aren't any security cameras on the property.
It's basically up to us, and I had informed them that even though the prior instances of this had happened, that they should invest in cameras on their property.
Shortly after the incident, we went into the Stonebrook office and were told they would not be commenting. JD Conti, KTRE East Texas News 9.
Now, as part of her bond, Sherry Cummings has been ordered to stay away from the Stonebrook Apartments. The affidavit states all the residents who had their tires slashed want to press charges. And East Texans have joined in with a long-distance motorcycle run to raise money and awareness to fight a problem that threatens human freedom. It's human trafficking. Members of GOTCHA, which stands for Get Off the Couch and Heal America, stopped in Longview to promote their efforts. Their cause to get people involved in stopping human trafficking. They'll take that message to 33 cities in 43 days, covering 5,600 miles from Florida to Arizona.
How do you stir up the country? How do you get the people that are really affected by a lot of the evils that are happening in the country to get out and make a difference themselves? A lot of us sit and complain and are very complacent and don't do anything about it because they don't think they can do something about it.
Now, the group also carries with them a 2023 Harley-Davidson Road Glide endorsed by the film Sound of Freedom, which will be auctioned off at the end of the run. And school safety has become a priority at campuses around the country, and especially here in Texas after the tragedy in Uvalde. The state's outline requirements schools need to follow guidelines of House Bill 3 requiring armed security officers at each campus location. The bill also provides temporary alternatives for school districts who struggle to comply due to law enforcement shortages and finances, for example. Lufkin ISD is still working to achieve full compliance.
In the meantime, we have an agreement with Lufkin Police Department, and they are providing off-duty officers that will work for us and cover those campuses that we don't currently have an officer at that's hired under our department.
Lufkin ISD Deputy Superintendent Kurt Stevens says the plan is to hire commissioned peace officers to provide a safe environment and meet the full requirements of one officer on each campus. However, they're still unsure when this problem will be resolved. A volunteer fire department is getting a brand new station. The station will be relocated less than a mile from its current location to Geneva Street. The VFD in Corrigan says this wouldn't be possible without community support. KTRE's Mariela Gonzalez takes us there.
This is not a fire station.
Zach Ivey is the captain of the Corrigan VFD and says the building is nearly 50 years old that was originally used as a warehouse. The building currently shares office space with the city's municipal court. Ivey also says most of the infrastructure is rotting and detaching.
It's got a bunch of holes in it. The walls are falling down. Dust gets in. We can't wash the trucks, keep the trucks clean.
The department only has one truck entry and exit, which Ivey says can cause delays when responding to an emergency.
Volunteer fire departments they're the heart and soul of a community.
Georgia Pacific Public Affairs Manager Yana Ogletree says they donated $100,000 to help the VFD get construction started. Ogletree says the wood manufacturing company has 4 plants in Polk County with over 1,000 employees, and providing financial assistance helps keep workers and residents safe.
In that manufacturing business, it's a risk.
And with the high fire activity that was seen this summer in the area, Ogletree says
it's so important that these firefighters have the proper equipment and the tools and the resources that they need to do their job as best as they can.
Ivey says the new building will be 75,000 square feet. Jared Oates of Hudson will be the department's new neighbor, and he's excited to see what's to come. Oates says he was a volunteer firefighter for Hudson VFD for 5 years.
And what do you say? Once a fireman,
always a fireman.
There you go.
And the property where construction is getting started, Ivey says it was donated by the Cobb family of Corrigan in honor of the late city's fire department chief, John Cobb.
We're going to have a flag out front with this monument deal for him.
Mariela Gonzalez, KTRE, East Texas News 9.
And Corrigan VFD says they hope to move in fire trucks at the end of October. And students across East Texas joined in prayer at their schools, all part of the global movement See You at the Pole. See You at the Pole started in 1990 when youth ministries in Texas challenged the youth to meet on the same day and start their school year in prayer. The flagpole marks a common point for almost every school and gives students a shared area to meet.
I think it's important, to see, there's a group of Christians that go to your school, and y'all can all be connected together through Christ and just share God together and just be in the faith together at school. You're not alone in the faith.
Now, See You at the Pole Day is held annually on the 4th Wednesday in September. And tonight, the state of Texas is sending more National Guardsmen to El Paso. This is to assist with the incoming influx of migrants crossing the southern border. Officials say more than 600 troops have been deployed to the area over the last 4 days, while the city's mayor says it has reached its breaking point. Now, the city of El Paso is also restarting its migrant busing operation to New York City. These are in addition to the buses sent by the state of Texas. The move is part of a decompression strategy due to the high number of migrant crossings at its southern border. Governor Abbott also voiced his opinion on the move earlier this evening.
This is something that's unsustainable. I think those are the words of your mayor. Those are the words of the mayor of Chicago and LA. Those are the words of the governor of Texas. What's going on is unsustainable. It's a crisis, it's chaotic, and it must stop.
El Paso's move comes 1 week after the Biden administration extended temporary protections to Venezuelans. And tonight, lawmakers have 3 days to avoid a government shutdown, and many sides remain at odds. However, senators are agreeing to a short-term solution to temporarily avoid it. KTRE's Washington News Bureau reporter Peter Zampa has more.
Well, lawmakers here on Capitol Hill are continuing their push to avoid a funding lapse, with government funding set to expire Saturday at midnight. But the policies and the politics at play indicate a long uphill battle to keep doors open. The state of play, Senate leaders agreed to a short-term solution, a continuing resolution that would keep the government funded for 6 weeks, send $6 billion to Ukraine, and $6 billion more to disaster relief.
I don't see the support in the House.
The bill is a non-starter for some Republicans in the Senate and many Republicans in the House, wary of supporting Ukraine. McCarthy wants to pass his own CR with a border security bill attached, a non-starter for Democrats and hardliners in his own party who say no CR. In fact, if McCarthy agrees to work with Democrats on a stopgap bill to get enough votes, the GOP detractors are threatening to take away his speakership.
This House has been poorly led, and we own that, and we have to do something about it.
But going through the regular appropriations process, passing 12 individual spending bills, takes time, a luxury lawmakers do not have after leaving their work to the last minute. Thus, the Senate moving ahead with a short-term fix.
This shows we can work together, even with our differences, for the betterment of the country.
Government shutdowns are bad news.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden is pointing the finger directly at House Republicans who can't come to an agreement among themselves, much less with Democrats. Those Republicans point the finger right back, saying the president should be at the table, working to secure the border. As all this finger pointing continues, so does the ticking clock. Reporting in Washington, I'm Peter Zampa.
If a deal is not reached, there would be no pay for federal workers until the shutdown ends. Nutrition assistance programs, park maintenance, and air travel would begin to be impacted if a shutdown becomes prolonged. And the search for a suspect connected to a tech CEO's death is heating up. What police know so far and why officers believe the suspect could be connected to other crimes. This coming up in just 60 seconds.
Loving Auto Group is more than a great place to buy.
Developing tonight, Baltimore police are searching for a suspect connected to the shooting death of a tech CEO. And as Emily Schmidt tells us, officers are looking into potential links to other dangerous recent crimes.
Pava LaPere did big things in her 26 years. A tech CEO Forbes honored as a 30 under 30, whom Baltimore's mayor knew and now mourns.
Pava was a very young, talented, devoted Baltimorean, someone that I had the opportunity to get to know over the past few years, who would help anybody that she would see.
Baltimore police say LaPere was found dead in an apartment building Monday. Their suspect, 32-year-old Jason Dean Billingsley, who's wanted on charges of first-degree murder, assault, and more. Police call him armed and dangerous and on the run.
This individual will kill and he will rape. He will do anything he can to cause harm.
Court records show Billingsley had previous assault convictions and was registered in Maryland's sex offender database. He pleaded guilty to a first-degree sex offense in 2015. He got a 30-year prison sentence, but was released in October 2022. Police are looking at open cases since that time, and they have named Billingsley as a suspect in a Baltimore arson last week, which sent 2 adults to the hospital in critical condition.
Every single police officer in Baltimore City, the state of Maryland, as well as the U.S. Marshals are looking for you. We will find you.
Police are also offering a reward of up to $6,000 for information leading to his arrest. And a New York judge is ruling former President Trump and his adult sons committed years of financial fraud by inflating the value of his assets. The ruling could force him to give up control of his properties in the state. Rena Roy has more on the aftermath.
As former President Donald Trump continues to hold wide leads among the Republican field seeking to win the White House, his list of legal troubles is adding up. Last night, a New York judge ruling that he and his adult sons, Don Jr. and Eric, committed years of financial fraud, inflating the net worth of the Trump Organization's assets by as much as $2.2 billion.
This judge is saying
Donald Trump loses resoundingly on this question of fraud.
Judge Arthur Engoron found Trump valued his Mar-a-Lago estate 20 times higher than its actual worth, $600 million compared to the assessed value of $27 million. The judge also saying 40 Wall Street, another Trump property, is worth $200 million, but the Trump organization valued it at more than $500 million. Allegedly, the same situation with his Trump Tower apartment, the judge saying Trump tripled its square footage, claiming 30,000 square feet, but really it's 11,000 according to the judge. In his ruling, Engoron saying a discrepancy of this order of magnitude by a real estate developer sizing up his own living space of decades can only be considered fraud. The case was brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James last year when she sued Trump, his eldest sons, and his company for $250 million. With Engoron's ruling, he determined that there's no need to hear testimony and evidence at the civil trial set to begin next week.
Basically, what the judge has done is reviewed the documents in the case and said, this is all I need. This is a documents case. It is clear that there was fraud here.
Former President Trump has said he will appeal the ruling and is asking that the start of the trial be delayed. An appeals court decision could come as early as tomorrow. And the House Oversight Committee is saying today a new bank subpoena shows Hunter Biden listing his father's Wilmington, Delaware home as a beneficiary address in 2 wire transfers with China. The committee says the transfers are the first examples of Hunter Biden receiving money directly and not through a shell company. Hunter Biden's attorney says the new allegations are not supported by facts. And moving on to weather, Chief Meteorologist Brad Lozak joining us now from the First Alert Weather Center. Brad, it has been quite a pleasant couple of days. Can we expect that calm to stay throughout the week?
Yeah, Naomi, it looks like this weather is going to continue for the foreseeable future. Of course, the only downside is it is still pretty toasty out there. We're still in the low to mid 90s, which is about 7 to 10 degrees above average for this time of year. In fact, if you take a look at the forecast for tomorrow, pretty similar to today. Highs in the low 90s, and we will leave in that obligatory 10% chance of a spotty stray shower for our southern counties and communities tomorrow afternoon. We are drying out, and we're going to stay pretty warm here as you round out the month of September. All those details are straight ahead.
Loving Auto Group is more than a great place to buy and service your vehicle.
Well, outside this evening on this Wednesday night, we have mostly clear skies. That moon is in a waxing gibbous phase. It'll be a harvest full moon here coming up on Friday. So maybe a good sign and a good omen for your team here for week 6 of the Red Zone coming up this Friday. So again, we have mostly clear skies outside right now. We did have a couple of very small showers around the Livingston, Woodville areas late this afternoon along that stalled out front. But again, any activity that we had quickly fizzled with the setting sun shortly after 7 o'clock this evening. In the meantime, Matthew Addison, west side of Lufkin, out Highway 103 west, 77 degrees right now. We've got 76 from Kip and Pollock, 75 from Linda and Nacogdoches, and Broadus at 73. Michael and Milam's at 75, and Bob Weldon on Placation Shores is at 79 degrees. And again, just as a reminder, we have 4 Deep East Texas counties that have rescinded their burn bans recently. They include Rusk, Nacogdoches, Angelina, Tyler. If you're in those counties, you can burn your trash if you'd like. Everybody else, though, that's still shaded in the red, you still have those burn restrictions in place. And of course, if we get any more updates on the burn ban front, we will give you those push alerts via our KTRE First Alert Weather mobile app. Meantime, here's a look at the rainfall for September. Look at the Angelina County Airport, over 8 inches of rain. That has been nice to see because we've had several nice soaking rains to help at least green things up just a bit, right? We've seen a green up for our vegetation because of the rain, and for the year, we now have a surplus of nearly 3 inches in the rainfall department. Having said that, when you look at the lake levels this week, they are at their lowest point than at any other time this year, at least to date. You look at Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, Nacogdoches, Livingston, anywhere from 3 to say 5 feet below conservation pool stage. So the watersheds yet haven't recovered from the drought that we had this summer. But hopefully with more rains, those watersheds will be replenished, and that should help rise those levels here in the next couple of months. There you see earlier today those spotty showers kind of across the southern parts of East Texas. And again, that's all along this little stalled out frontal boundary. I think it's around tomorrow, at least it lingers to maybe give us a 1 in 10 chance of a spotty shower. Those odds aren't great, but they're going to be there. And again, the main chance of rain is going to be in our southern counties. So notice tomorrow afternoon, we're back in the low to mid 90s. So another pretty hot day. And again, maybe 1 or 2 showers popping up. After that, we're pretty much done with the rain for the foreseeable future. And that's because we're going to have a ridge of high pressure build in and kind of control our weather over the next 5 days. This takes us through the weekend and into early next week. And what it's going to do is block this western storm system from really making any progress eastward into the plains. There are signs, though, as we head towards the following weekend, about 10 days from now, this area of low pressure may be able to move into the plains. And if that happens, that could bring us a pretty decent shot at rain and perhaps a nice cold front in here, say by the weekend of October 7th and 8th. So we'll wait and see on that. In the meantime, shorts and t-shirts, my friends, keep it coming. Highs in low to mid 90s. Again, kind of unbearable, to almost say the least, as you finish the tab on the month of September. Overnight lows will stay in the 60s. And again, overall, mostly sunny skies. Humidity values will come down a little bit early next week, which will help things out. But again, it looks like the warm, balmy weather will continue here through at least the middle of next week. All right, your Loving Auto Group First Alert Weather Umbrella winner for tonight is Kathy Burr from Lufkin. And of course, if you want to sign up to win a First Alert umbrella, we've got you covered, and all the details are at KTRE.com. Just look for the contest tab.
All right, and coming up, we have got the Red Zone Spotlight Player of the Week. That's next, coming up in sports.
First Alert Weather Umbrella, sponsored by Love.
Hello there and welcome to sports. Well, the Garrison Bulldogs, one of our undefeated East Texas football teams and number 8 on our Red Zone Top 10 list, will be going for yet another win this Friday. And their opponent, the Joaquin Rams. Head coach Brandon Alvarez.
Well, so Joaquin, don't let the record fool you. They're 0-4, but they're a good football team. You know, it's going to be a very physical game. You know, since I've been here the last 3 years, we've had a bunch of battles with these guys, and I don't expect anything less Friday night. I mean, they got Gage Jordan, Tate Bass, Dallin Jordan, Jericho. They got a bunch of guys over there. They're good players that were on that team that they had last year when they were so good. And I mean, our kids remember that. Our kids know it's going to be a physical game. Even watching film on them, you know, they've been, the big plays they've been getting up have been like quarterback scramble plays. So with that in mind, heck, we're going to have to come play because we don't do that. That's not what we do. But if we kick the ball around, we're going to be in for a battle all night.
And a look for the battle between Garrison and Joaquin to be Friday night in Joaquin at 7 p.m. At the collegiate level, the SFA Lumberjacks will be back at home to take on head coach Colby Carthel's old team, Texas A&M Commerce.
You know, great program, storied program, a lot of great memories there at A&M Commerce, a lot of great friends, and a lot of them are coming to the game, and we'll be wearing blue and gold and cheering against us, but they'll, you know, we just won't be friends for about 3.5 hours there on Saturday. But be great to see some old faces there after the game, and you know, just looking forward to a good football game.
And that will be the Lumberjacks taking on A&M Commerce this Saturday at Homer Bryce Stadium. Kickoff at 6 p.m.
Player Spotlight is sponsored by Dairy Queen.
And this week's Red Zone Spotlight player goes to the one and only Timpson superstar Terry Bussey, who will be making the highly anticipated announcement of which school he will be committing to tomorrow. Bears head coach Kerry Thurwanger was asked if he had ever coached a player like Bussey, and his response was,
No.
No, I mean, he just does some things out there that, I'd love to take credit for as a coach, but I don't think any coach could take credit for that. He's blessed with a lot of athletic ability. Along with that, he's a really, really intelligent kid. And so you put that intelligence with that God's gift of athleticism, then it's really, really special.
And that's Terry Bussey, our Red Zone Spotlight player. And that will wrap it up for sports for tonight. I'm Mark Bounds. Make it a great one.
And finally tonight, Google is celebrating its 25 years of operations with a special Google Doodle. Take a look at this. Google was founded on September 4th, 1998, but it is observing its silver anniversary today. The company also released a list of 25 numbers it says are important to its history. One of the highlights is the number Google, which is a 1 with 100 zeros following it. That number was the inspiration for the widely used search engine. Well, folks, that is all the time we have here at 10. Don't forget, Good Morning East Texas starts right here at 4:30 in the morning. Until then, make it a great night, folks.
Get your news wherever you are. Sponsored by Commercial Bank of Texas. From news and weather to high school football or even great cooking recipes, download our family of apps today. Answer the daily